The PlayStation 5 launch has been so terrible, so boring, so under the radar that the person who has spent 5 years, right, years of my life, like talking shit about PlayStation, talking about how they're the worst ever, didn't even know that it had come out, okay? The rest of the world, was fixated on the election, Donald Trump's victory over Joe Biden, playing Nintendo, playing Xbox, reading books, writing books, watching anime, watching Amazon Prime. Like, I was doing a bunch of other things. I did not give a fuck that PlayStation 5 had come out. Like, it wasn't even on my radar. And by the way things are looking, by the things are looking on Twitter, on gaming outlets, what I've been seeing from the public, like, nobody else gives a fuck either. Like, PlayStation 5 launched at the absolute worst time imaginable. Nintendo Switch is dominating. Xbox Game Pass is really cutting into its market. COVID, the pandemic is ravaging the planet, and people are not even being allowed to leave their homes by the government, not because of the plague that doesn't actually exist. And, the election, like, more important things. Like, literally right now, we are in the middle of a civil war. Like, we are in the middle, the entire fate of our country and the entire world was hanging in the balance, depending on Donald Trump to defeat Joe Biden. And, of course, the Democrats are desperately trying to prevent that from happening. And, of course, it's like an ongoing drama. But that just feeds into my point, right? Like, that just kind of feeds into my point. Like, PlayStation PlayStation was not on anyone's mind. Like, nobody gave a fuck that PlayStation 5 was coming out. It doesn't have any games. It doesn't have any appeal. Nobody wants it. I don't think... who in the world would seriously go out and buy a PS5 day one? Like, other than YouTubers and shills, right? People who make their careers off this stuff, the Keemstars, the Review Tech USAs. Like, I don't see anyone, other than Twitch streamers, YouTubers, game journalists, I don't see anyone at all talking about PS5. It is completely dead. When your big game for this holiday season is a re-release of an early PS3 game, Demon's Souls, which was always very overrated and not all that great anyway, like, you're basically fucked, okay? Like, what are you waiting for? Like, what do you have to look forward to? You have an entirely brand new console, and you have no games for 2021. Nothing that can stand up to Bayonetta 3, to No More Heroes 3, to Rune Factory 5, to Disgaea 6, to, like, upcoming Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, Fire Emblem, Animal Crossing, like, all these Nintendo franchises, right, that could just come out of nowhere, right? Like, legit, No More Heroes 3 by itself is probably more exciting than anything the PS5 is going to have in its entire lifespan, right? Because of when PS5 launched, how it launched, and everything that's going on with that, with the political thing, the Sony's censorship policies, which I think are beginning to seep into the mainstream, I don't think anyone is going to buy a PS5. I think most serious gamers are going to stick with Nintendo or maybe a PC if they're complete plebs. Like, I expect most audiences will just buy a Nintendo Switch. Like, I expect that's going to be the future of gaming. It's just, people are just going to migrate to Nintendo Switch, get Xbox Game Pass, play these third-party games on whatever, and just enjoy themselves. Have fun with great games like Sakuna Rise of Ruin, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, Pikmin 3 Deluxe, and the constant, never-flowing barrage of great games that are coming out on Nintendo hardware all the time. It is very, very impressive to see just what Nintendo has been delivering in recent years, and I think we're at the point now where the gaming public acknowledges that games like Breath of the Wild, like Mario Odyssey, like Splatoon 2, like ARMS, like all of this stuff, right, is better than what we're getting on other consoles. Like, we get spin-off games like Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, and and countless other great spin-off games, while you're stuck with like Witcher card games and fucking terrible like multiplayer microtransaction filled spin-offs like Apex Legends, like Fortnite, like it's just all of that stuff is either already available on Switch or has a superior alternative on Switch. Like nobody is really getting all that fired up about The Last of Us Part 2. I think most people are just going to play another zombie game, right? Like people, The Last of Us was actually from the get-go an extremely disposable IP, right? It's going to be easily replaced by another zombie game, right? God of War is going to be replaced by a better hack and slash game. No More Heroes, Bayonetta. The Mario platformers are better than Astrobot and Knack. The Zelda games are better than like Horizon Zero Dawn. Like Metroid is better than like whatever they try to say is better than Metroid these days. The list really goes on and on. Like with Sony's relocating their business to California, they're basically not even a Japanese company at this point. With them relocating to California and reconfiguring all of their design decisions to fit Western sensibilities, that's basically going to kill them. I think it's going to become super pause. It's going to become super SJW. Like PlayStation is essentially the SJW company, and I think with PlayStation 5, that's going to be very obvious. And I think as a result of that, much like with The Last of Us Part 2, you are going to see a coordinated backlash against PlayStation. Like you are going to actively see more and more people start to despise PlayStation, the stunts they pull, and because it's an English company, like now it's an American company, you won't see people try to say that like, well, it's gonna have good Japanese games, or maybe there's a reason Final Fantasy VII isn't coming to Nintendo. Like it'll become really obvious, like as it has been in the past couple of years, that PlayStation just pays for all their support. Like PlayStation isn't better than Nintendo. They just have a much bigger business and are able to afford doing shit that no one else is willing to do, like other than Microsoft is willing to do. So I will, of course, continue paying attention to PS5. I will be talking shit about like Horizon and God of War sequels, but I do expect we are going to see a major decline in PlayStation's brand going forward. We're in a much different console industry at this point in time. We're going to see major changes, and I do not believe PlayStation is going to be able to compete. PlayStation is dead.